Over the last several months, I've been following the activities of former Louisiana Governor Buddy Roemer. And first off, I am a Louisianian born and bred and proud. And of course, I'm not old enough to remember his governorship. I think I was about 2 or 3 years old when he was running the state, so I don't have any first-hand experience with the man's leadership to give any opinion of him in that regard. But I do like his stance on money and politics, and I'm glad it's coming from a Republican. Now, I do have a few issues with him. For instance, I like the fact that he touts these seemingly progressive economic positions, but on the other hand, he would often talk about in Congress he worked with Reagan, and he was a Reagan Democrat, when it was Reagan who embarked on this crusade of neoliberalism to systematically undermine many of the governmental regulations with regards to antitrust laws, which is what actually first got the ball rolling and led to this eventual hostile takeover of the government by corporations, which we're seeing today. So, I'm not exactly sure how he squares that away with his present activism. And it's a few things like that which confuses me about the man. And don't get me wrong, I'm not at all implying that he's in any way being dishonest or disingenuous. But it's just that we should always be diligent and remember to always maintain close scrutiny on our politicians. We shouldn't have politician worship like we see with Ron Paul supporters or Obama supporters. Rather, it's imperative that we exercise intense discernment in our elected leaders and candidates. But aside from all that, and despite a few other disagreements with the man, he understands what the problem is. The fact that unlimited money has corrupted the system to its core. And because of his stance on that issue alone, that's why I support him. Because that really is the singular issue of our day, not gay marriage, not gun control, but acknowledging the reality that our government is owned and operated by Wall Street, lock, stock, and barrel. And it's paramount that we reverse that. Yes, we have to get money out of politics, and yes, we have to have a constitutional amendment to change that, but it's next to impossible to seriously accomplish. In my opinion, the real fight has to be done locally. We have to get money out first on a smaller scale on a state-by-state basis until it ultimately has a domino effect. So, if I could offer some advice to Mr. Roemer and to the rest of my fellow citizens in Louisiana, I would advocate that we should push for our state government to institute a partial public financing system for political parties in the state of Louisiana. I think we should adopt a system like they have in Canada called a per-vote subsidy. And what it basically means is that if a party gets at least 5% of the vote, they'll receive a sum of money from the government each year for every vote they get in an election. Such a system would greatly dampen the influence of PACs, although I think PACs should be abolished. The per-vote subsidy is a small solution that would be a step in the right direction that could at least compete with the PAC money. I think in order to be effective, the state subsidy should be maybe $5 for every vote a party gets that has at least 5% of the vote statewide. So it would keep Republicans and Democrats somewhat in check as they start to depend more on public funds rather than monetary support from PACs, lobbyists, corporations, and unions. Plus the 5% threshold would be fair to smaller parties, like the Libertarians or the Green and Reform parties, that gives them financial support proportional to their actual levels of popular support and helps them to grow even if they don't win any seats. But it also sets a cutoff point which makes it hard for any potential fringe parties to gain any undue influence. So I hope that was coherent. But I do think that this is something the Reform Project should look into for Louisiana and hopefully start a movement to get this done. So, in closing, all in all, I like Roemer. I support what he's doing. And I'd certainly like to see him run for something again, maybe for Senate in 2014. And, yeah, I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and everyone have a happy Easter. See you soon.